Hi, my name is Tim Seeley. I am a comic book artist and writer. I've been doing this for about 20 years. I've worked on all kinds of stuff. I used to draw G.I. Joe. I wrote Hack Slash. I also have written stuff like Nightwing and Grayson and Batman and a whole bunch of other things you probably heard of. And I currently work on a book called Local Man for Image Comics, as well as Masters of the Universe for Dark Horse. I've been doing this since 2001 professionally, so that's 22 years, which makes me ancient in comic book terms. But happy to get to always make stuff up and work in comics. That's my favorite part of the job. Yeah, my love for comics definitely starts from when I was a kid. I grew up in the country, not very far from other people, in the woods. And so, not having a lot of stuff to do, I sort of escaped into imagination. And as a kid, I had gotten mini comics that came with Master of the Universe figures. And so that opened up this affection and interest in drawing comics. And so when I was 5 years old, I got my first comic while camping with my family. And it just connected to me in one of those weird ways where I just instantly decided that that was what I was going to do. And so sometimes I wish I had chosen something else, but I've spent since I was five, determined to do this full time as a job. Well, for me, a job when it comes in some of these, first I kind of have to have something I'm interested in about it. So in this case, it was the chance to work with UDON. I've known people from UDON like Eric and Marshall since back, and I started at Devil's Due, so probably 18 years I've known those guys. And also, I've always loved the designs for Darkstalkers, specifically Felicia. I think it's the concept art and the character designs for those Darkstalkers characters is some of my favorite stuff that Capcom has ever done. So that was enough for me that's my nugget, that's my interest. And then the story we built around it was just like figuring out what is the core of that character. And I think the core of Felicia is that despite being a monster, she is sweet, she is good, and she genuinely cares for people, and that makes her different than not only the other monsters but than people. And so she's very like generative, motherly type person, and our story kind of follows that aspect of her as she tries to sort of make the world better, and there's people that just like to take advantage of what she tries to offer people. I watched a lot of videos. I read all the Udon comics. I watched every cutscene and every sort of animatic version that she would ever appeared in. I had seen the anime of Darkstalkers, I think in 1997 probably. So I'd already had that information, and so I just reviewed everything, and I kind of let it, I just dive in and spend days, sort of living in that stuff, and then let it sit for a while, and then come back and sort of spit out something that goes through the filter of myself, so that it's sort of in character, on model, but also adding something different. It is Felicia. I've always liked that design. I had like a little PVC figure of her. I don't actually play video games, so it was never my interest, the game side of her. It was always the design. Seeing Capcom do sort of more fantastical stuff was, even for me, who likes the Street Fighter designs, I think I like the Darkstalker stuff even more because it's more fantastical, it's horror characters, it's classic monsters, and so, but Felicia was always my favorite for sure. I mean, I feel like that the thing is, for me, the dream project is I've kind of gotten to do them all, and I don't say that as like a brag. I say it with all the gratefulness I can, but I mean, making up Hack Slash and having it be, all the sort of B movie stuff that I've always loved, and the monsters and the horror stuff, and having gotten to do that book for almost 20 years that's the dream. I've gotten to work on pretty much everything I loved as a kid, Master of the Universe, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all the Marvel characters I love, all the DC characters I love. So for me, it's just kind of I'm trying to be grateful more so than to try to pursue something, because I kind of got to do all this stuff. I mean, aside from like getting to like go on tour with my favorite bands when I was a teenager, I've pretty much done it all as far as my fandom goes. Which, that I'm grateful, and I'm eternally grateful. I'm grateful every day. So that's kind of thing. And I guess the challenge for me is just to take things that are new and interesting. So doing something like Felicia is that, and coming up with new creator owned books is that. It's the challenge of coming up with something interesting. Hey, this is Tim Seeley, the writer of Felicia from UDON Comics. Don't forget to check it out. It comes out April 26th. I hope you enjoy it. If you pick this one up, there'll be a whole bunch more Darkstalkers comics to come.